Chapter 17, Risa. Um, Police down the hall. Police at the exits. Risa knows this is Lev's doing. He didn't just run away. He turned them in. This teacher says she's helping them. But what if she's not? What if she's just leading them to the police? Don't think about that now. Keep your eyes on the baby. Policemen know panic when they see it. But if her eyes are turned to the baby, her panic might be read as concern for the baby's tears. If I ever see Lev again, says Connor, I'll tear him to pieces! Shh. Shh, says the teacher, leading them along with the crowd to the exit. Risa can't blame Connor for his anger. She blames herself for not seeing through Lev's sham. How could she have been so naive to think he was truly on their side? We would have let the little creep be unwound. We should have let the little creep be unwound, grumbles Connor. Shut up, says Risa. Let's just get out of this. As they near the door, another policeman comes into view, standing just outside. Give me the baby, the teacher orders, and Risa does as she's told. She doesn't realize why the woman asked for the baby, but it doesn't matter. It's wonderful to have someone leading the way who seems to know what they're doing. Perhaps this woman isn't the enemy after all. Perhaps she truly will get them through this. Just go ahead. Let me go ahead, the teacher says. The two of you separate and just walk out with the rest of the kids. Without the baby to look at, Risa knows she can't hide the panic in her eyes. But suddenly she realizes that might not matter, and now she understands why the woman took the baby. Yes, Lev turned them in, but if they're lucky, these local policemen might have the description of them to go by. A scruffy-haired boy and a dark-haired girl with a baby. Take the baby away, and that could be half the kids in the school. The teacher, Hannah, passes the policeman a few yards ahead of them, and he gives her only a momentary glance. But then he looks toward Risa, and his eyes lock on her. Risa knows she's just giving herself away. She should turn and race back into the school. Where's Connor now? Is he behind her? In front of her? She has no idea. She's completely alone. And then salvation arrives in the most unlikely form. Hi, Dee. It's Alexis, the talkative girl from the school bus. She comes up beside her with Chaz gnawing at her shoulder. I thought it was Chad. I guess it's Chaz. People pull the alarms all the time, she says. Well, at least I got on a mat. Suddenly the policeman's eyes shift to Alexis. Stop right there, miss. Or, stop right there, miss. What do they sound like? Not the police Canadian? Yeah, stop right there, miss. How do Canadians sound? Shouldn't I know? Stop. Just a second. Yeah, stop right there, miss, eh? Alexis looks stunned. Who, me? Step aside. I'd like... I can't do the Canadian thing. I don't know what Canadians sound like. Like I live there or anything. He's just gonna be... Step aside. We'd like to ask you a few questions. Risa walks right on past, holding her breath for fear that her gasp of relief might draw the officer's attention again. Risa no longer fits the profile of what they're looking for. But Alexis does. Risa doesn't look back. She just continues down the steps to the street. In a few moments, Connor catches up with her. I saw what happened back there. Your friend may have just saved your life. I'll have to thank her later. Up ahead, Hannah reaches into her pocket with her free hand, pulls out her car keys, and then turns left toward the faculty parking lot. It's all going to be okay, Risa thinks. She's going in to get us out of here. Risa might just start believing in miracles and angels, and then she fears a familiar voice behind her. What is he? Wait, stop. She turns to see Lev. He spotted them, and although he's far away, he's quickly working his way through the crowd toward them. Risa, Connor, wait! It wasn't enough to just turn them in. Now he's leading the cops directly to them, and he's not the only one. Alexis still stands with the policeman at the school side entrance. From where she can easily see Risa, and she points Risa out to the cop. The cop instantly pulls out his radio to inform the other officers. Connor, we're in trouble. I know, I see it too. Wait! Screams Lev, still far away but getting closer. Risa looks for Hannah, but she's vanished into the crowd of kids in the parking lot. Connor looks at Risa, fear overwhelming the fury in his eyes. Run! This time, Risa doesn't hesitate. She runs with him, breaking toward the street just as a fire truck bursts onto the scene, sirens blaring. The truck stops right in their path. There's nowhere to run. The fire alarm had mercifully been pulled at the perfect time, and it's gotten them this far. But the commotion is fading. Kids are milling instead of moving, and cops in every direction zero in on the two of them. What they need is a fresh commotion, something even worse than the fire alarm. The answer comes even before Risa can formulate the entire idea in her mind. She speaks without even knowing what she's about to say. Start clapping. Start clapping. What? Start clapping, trust me. A single nod from Connor makes it clear that he gets it, and he begins bringing his hands together, slowly at first, then more and more quickly. She does the same, both of them applauding as if they were at a concert trained for their favorite band. And beside them, a student drops his backpack and stares at them in utter horror. Um, Clappers! He screams. Clappers! He screams. In an instant, the word is out. Clappers, clappers, clappers. It echoes in the kids around them. In an instant, it reaches critical mass, and the entire crowd is in full-blown panic. Clappers! Everyone screams, and the crowd becomes a stampede. Kids bolt, but no one is sure where to go. All they know is that they must get away from the school as quickly as possible. Risa and Connor continue to clap, their heads red from the force of the duet of applause. When the mob racing in blind terror, the cops can't get to them. Lev has vanished, trampled by the panicked mob, and everything is made worse by the fire siren, which blares like it's sounding out the end of the world. They stop clapping and join the stampede, becoming part of the crowd. And that's when someone comes beside them. It's Hannah. Her plans of driving them off campus are gone, so she quickly hands Risa the baby. There's an antique shop on Fleming Street, she tells them. Ask for Sonia. She can help you. We're not clappers, is all Risa can think to say. I know you're not. Good luck. There's no time to thank her. In a moment, the wild crowd pulls them apart, taking Hannah in a different direction. Risa stumbles and realizes they're in the middle of the street. Traffic has come to a halt as hundreds of kids race in the mad frenzy to escape the terrorists, wherever they are. The baby in Risa's arm bawls, but its cries are nothing compared to the screams of the mob. In a moment, they are across the street and gone with the crowd. That was chapter 17. I guess clappers is like terrorists or something. I don't know. Yeah, they're going to an antique shop now.